Okay. Hello, guys. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Utpal. Good evening, Drex. Good evening, Deepak, Binary. Good evening, guys. How are you all? How are you all? And good evening to all the people watching. How are you all? Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Am I audible, guys? First of all, please confirm that. Am I audible? Am I visible? Can you please confirm that real quick? Everyone. Till the time I'll just see my settings and everything. Guys, everyone, can you please confirm that? Good evening. Is this your second account? This is the only account I have, buddy. I always go live from this. So I think, yeah, this is the same account. Okay. All good. Yeah. All good. Okay. So I first of all hope that you all are good and doing good in your lives. And also, I think we got, I think, 2 days break, right? So I hope the last time I told you to practice all the things that you have learned so that it will help you in your future sessions. So I hope that you guys have practiced all the Angular that we have done so far, because now we'll be marching towards the project sessions in future. Now, all the things that we learn from now on are going to help us to build projects in our future sessions and also in your career after you have learned complete Angular. So please, guys, keep practicing. Okay. And let's go. And without any more time, let's go and let's get started with today's session because it's very important and we have a lot to learn. But let me answer one question first. I have a question on getting parameter passes on URL. If you don't give a value after slash like product something, yeah, it will never work because that's an incorrect URL, right? If you have created a URL with a parameter, that means that URL expects a parameter. If you don't give it, it will definitely give you an issue. So in that case, Drex, what you have to do is you have to create two URLs, one with parameter, one without parameter, so that it can match anything. So even if you don't pass the parameter, it will match the second one that doesn't have the parameter. Is that clear, buddy? Drex? Hopefully that answers your question. So you have to, let's say, for example, slash product, right? So you have to create one for slash product. Maybe you're going to the same component. That's fine. One for slash product and one for slash product slash some ID. So you have to create two URLs like this. One which you can access without any parameter, one which you can access with a parameter. So I hope that answers your question. And also, guys, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And also, guys, please go ahead and call your friends and colleagues who want to learn Angular so that they can also join in and start learning. So, guys, today's session, as you have already seen, it's about UI rendering. That means today we are going to talk a lot about UIs. Okay, and today we'll see how to see. Till now we have only seen basic boxes because we were focusing on the core things of Angular like binding, routing, right? So we were focusing on the core. Now from today we'll talk about designing, how to actually display something on your web page. Till now, we were only displaying hello, hi, we were creating some blank components with some blank colors, right? We were only doing that much. Today, we'll actually see how to put real data on your UI, how to structure it in the best way possible, right? How to display something based on a condition, how to display multiple values using loops. So today, it's all about UI, right? Till now, we were never really making any UI. We were just printing some stuff just to see if everything is working. Today is all about UI. So I hope you guys are excited. So let's go and let's get started, everyone. Okay. What about redirect? Yes. I'll show you that. Don't worry. So once we go to the project session, I'll show you that, or otherwise in between any session, I'll definitely show you how to create a 404. That's very easy. That's very easy. Is React and Angular have similar uses? Yes, Ariel. Yes, both of them are front-end development frameworks or libraries. So yeah, both have exact same use case. Okay, guys. So today's main thing is, first of all, we'll talk about state in Angular. Okay, simple state. Okay. Technically, we don't have a term called state in Angular, but just to explain you a little bit about it, I'm going to keep that topic here. Then we'll talk about conditions, conditional, what do you say, conditional rendering. So conditional rendering. Then we'll talk about loop rendering. These are the main topics for today. And then we'll try to build something. Yeah. So let's say we'll build something. Okay. Again, I'm really sorry, something. Okay. So guys, first of all, let's see what exactly do I mean by state. What exactly is a state in Angular? Okay. So guys, see, no matter in which framework you are, whenever I say state, state simply means data of a component. State simply means data of a component. Okay, any component that you have. Last time I also showed you how to create components. So guys, first of all, before we start, as you can see, I have created a new project called as PMS, okay, which simply stands for product management system, because today I'm going to be using some product data. You can give any name, that's completely fine. Okay, and as you can see, it's just a blank project. I have done nothing. It's again very basic, very simple. I have only one component called as app component, and only welcome is written there. So nothing new. You have already seen me creating multiple projects. So this is just one blank project and it's already running. So let me show you. Yep, here we go. It's simply showing welcome. So no big deal. I hope everyone is fine with this, right? Nothing new, all blank project before we get started. Completely project from scratch, right? So then guys, first of all, when I say state, what exactly is state? So whenever I say state, guys, no matter in whatever front-end framework, state simply means of data of a component. That's what you can say state. Data of a component is considered as a state. So if I go ahead in this component, see, so we know guys, we always go in the TS file and all the variables or the data about that component we store in the TS file. So in Angular, in the class, in the TS file of that component, in the class, we create variables and inside that variable we store data. Okay, so any data that you create for that component is considered as a state. In Angular, any data that you store for that component in the TS file is considered as a state. So in this case, this title, or in future, this name equals to something, let's say Saurabh, right? Whatever it is, let's say, for example, age equals 22. So all of this is considered as a state of that component. Right now, we have only one component, which is app component. So these three things right now are state of this component. Now, why are they called state? Can't we just call them variables? Yes, they are variables, but why am I calling them state? Let me show you that. So let's say, for example, let's try to display these variables on the UI. So to do that, guys, we go on the HTML file of that component. And guys, what do we use? We perform the string interpolation logic, right? One concept from data binding, string interpolation. So we simply go there and display name. We can have one more h1 in which we can display the age. Any variable you can display. So age, that's how we display variables. So guys, you can see now, let's go on the browser. You can see, yep, here we go. Name and age are displayed. Now, why do we call them state? Let me show you that. So let's create a button. Now, I hope that everyone remembers the event binding that we have learned in this, I think, second session, right? So let's say click, or let's just call this button as change name. Okay. And let's go in the TS file and let's create a function or an event for this component. Okay. We know that whenever we want to create event for a component or a function for a component, we always go in the TS file. So TS file, let's create a function called as change name. Okay. And the whole job of this function is to simply change the value of name variable. For now, change the value of name variable. So it's, since name is a class variable, so this always, to access any class variable, always go for this dot name, and initially it is Saurabh. I just want to change it to, let's say, Utpal. That means now, initially when the component loads, the name is Saurabh, and that's why it's displayed on the UI. But if this function is called, it will change the name from Saurabh to Utpal. Now let's call this function, and to call this function, we'll call it on this button. So we'll go on this button. Guys, how do we do event binding? Normally in JavaScript, in plain HTML, you use something called as onClick, right? But as I said, in Angular, you put rounded brackets, and inside that, you ditch the on. You don't write on, just write click, right? Event binding. Simply, we are binding this function or this event listener to this button. So click. Whenever it is clicked, please call the change name function. That's all. Now see what happens, guys. So now as soon as I click on this button, change name will be called. Whenever the change name is called, the name variable whose value initially was Saurabh will change to Utpal. And as soon as I click on it, see, UI also got updated on the spot. That's why we don't call them as normal variables. We call them as state variables, because whenever the variable's value changes, the component re-renders or refreshes. and whatever the new output is, you can see that. Is that clear? In React, you have to create a state variable by mentioning the use state hook. Here, any variable that you create normally is considered as the state variable, right? So in React, you have to tell React that I want this variable to be a state variable, so that if it changes, the component should update. Here, any variable that you create is by default considered as a state variable. And if that changes, the UI re-renders, right everyone? So that app component is right now re-rendering and you can see the new output. So guys, I hope it is cleared. That's the base idea. No matter what you change, any variable, if I change age, that will also happen. So let's say in the same function only, I also change the age. So this dot age equals 56. Sorry, Utpal, I know you're not 56. Just for example, okay, buddy. So here we go. Now again, see, once I save it, my whole application reloads back to Saurabh 22. And if I click on change name, see, both of it has changed. Is it cleared, guys? So guys, I really hope this base logic is cleared. Just wanted to let you know this. Even if it is by default, just wanted to showcase you this, that no matter whatever variable you create and display in the UI, if you change it, the component will re-render and the UI will update with the new value. Okay. So now guys, let's move on to the important topic for today. Okay. So guys, let's go. And what we'll do for that is very simple. I want to create a very, very simple example. So the next thing that we are learning is something called as, so this is done. Now let's go ahead and talk about something called as conditional rendering. Okay, so right now we are talking about this. So let me just highlight it. Okay, conditional rendering. So first of all, what is the meaning of conditional rendering? So a lot of times in your UI, you display a lot of things, but sometimes you want to display a few things based on a condition. For example, let's say you go on an application, right? You go on an application like Flipkart, and there a lot of products are displayed. 10, 20, 50, 70 products are displayed. But you can see that some products, if they are out of stock, they are blacked out, or they are not highlighted, or they are not clickable. That means they have displayed 20 products, but one out of that product is not available. That's why it's blacked out. So how are they doing that? How are they writing the logic so that every product is loaded, but for that one particular product, something else is happening, that is blacked out, or it is not clickable? How are they doing that? So what they might have done is they might have applied a condition. If the product is available, it should be normal. If it is not available, change the CSS. If it is not available, black it out. If it is not available, make the opacity 0. Or sorry, not 0, 0 will be completely invisible. Make it 0.5. So a little bit visible it should be, so that user can at least perceive that, oh fine, this product is not available. So some condition, whatever you do, black it out, make it unclickable, no matter whatever you want to do, but you need to write some condition. If it is not available, then only do it, right? So there are a lot of cases. You might have seen users, right? So let's say I have loaded 15 users, but some of them are, let's say I have a college application. I'm loading 15, 20 users, but some of them are, let's say, defaulters. Those users or those students are defaulters. They don't have proper attendance. So I want to mark them red, right? So same logic. I will load all the users. At every user, I'll write a condition. If the count of attendance or any condition is less than this, greater than that, change the color to red. So this is just a highlight. Let's try to do it actually. Okay. First of all, let me show you a very, very basic example. Okay. Very basic example. So let's do one thing. Okay. Very simple. In this case, what we can do, just to give you a very basic example, let's create something called as is available variable. Okay. Or let's create a product information in this case. So we can't use let inside the class. So let's create a product object. Product equals, okay, simple guys. So name, let's say Samsung. Right now I'm talking about only one product, guys. Don't worry, in future we'll talk about more products. So Samsung M51, something like that. And price equals to, let's say, 23,000. And I'm having a property called as is available. Okay, guys, is available equals something like, not equals, let's say true. Okay, something like that. So I have a very simple product. Let's remove this. Okay, so guys, I have one single product. Okay, one normal product. Now I hope, guys, You remember TypeScript as well. Remember guys, for objects we used to create types so that we don't accidentally create extra properties, or we don't give wrong name to the properties. I hope you remember our TypeScript lectures. There we learned that we should always create types for objects in your TypeScript. So let's do that. Let's really do it quickly. So we'll create a type. So we'll follow good practices, that's all. Type, okay, type, and let's call it as product type. Okay, that's how we create, right, everyone? And I think the type decorator, yeah, it's not available inside the class, so let's create it outside here in the TS file. Yeah, type product. So we cannot use this type inside the class, that's why outside. Type product, it should have name, which should be string. So we are just trying to follow good practice, that's all. We'll keep it a habit of putting good practices. Price should be number, and then there should be a is available property, which should be, let's say, boolean. Okay, so guys, we have created a type for product, and now see, we'll go ahead and give it a type that, okay, product object, you should be of type product, and see, no errors. But now the best part is, if I make a mistake, it will cry, oh, this property is not allowed, because it's only having name, price, and is available, and is available spelling is this, you're putting a wrong spelling. So now, and if I try to make price as string, again it will cry. So now I have some kind of security measures, right, in my application, that okay, I cannot make bad objects, I will always make good objects. Okay, so a better thing. And also guys, one more thing, just before we move ahead, one more according to good practice, that is, right now I'm creating the type inside my component file, inside my components TS file. Okay, again, that's also not a good practice, because in future you might have 10-15 types, and you're not going to make your component file very big. In that case, you should never do that. So what you can do is, see, you can go ahead in src or inside app, because it's your main component, everything gets created here. So create one more file called as types.ts, a separate file. Okay, and instead of creating this type inside that file, remove it from here and put it inside the separate TS file, your personal TS file. Call it types.ts, whatever you want to name it. And then don't forget to export it, because if you don't export it, you won't be able to import it. So just write export. That's it. So from this types.ts file, we are exporting a type. Okay, and now you can see here we are getting an error that this is not available. So now let's just import it. And this imported right now, not imported, remove it. Import. What do we want to import, guys? We are exporting product type. So import product, this thing from /types. You don't have to mention .ts. It understands that it is Angular. Every file is a TS file. So you don't have to mention .ts. Just mention import this product from /types. That means this file. So import this product, which is a type. You can see it's a type from this types.ts file. And now see, you can use it. So now you are not making your component file look very bad. It's much more clean, right? So guys, I hope you have understood. So this is what we'll do in future as well. We create a separate file types.ts, and from now on we can create our types here. We don't have to, make our component TS file crowded. Is it clear, guys? So now, yeah, normal now, all set, all good. See, the reason right now it's not important. We can directly do it in the project. But the only reason I'm doing it here is so that from scratch only we can start following good practices. It doesn't take time. But once we make the big application, then we try to create types, it will always take time. So good practices will start from scratch only, from basics only. Okay, so now we have the product. Now then let's try to display it. So for that, let's create a box. So div. So back to the components HTML file. Remember guys, three main files of a component: a TS file, HTML file, a CSS file. So back to HTML file, give it a class of product. Okay, and give it some name. So okay, not name. Okay, first of all, let's apply some CSS. So go to this div product. Okay, and then let's say height of 200 pixels, width of 200 pixels, and background of something like light gray. And let's go to the output. Okay, you can see a simple box, right, everyone? I hope you can see a simple box, normal simple box. Now then, let's go ahead and display some content inside it. And also let's give it a padding. Now guys, see, I hope you remember, even if you don't, I hope everyone is familiar with basic HTML and CSS that, see, you can see you're getting a gap here, which we also get in our normal HTML applications. So to avoid this gap, in the global CSS or in anywhere in the CSS, we mention margin 0, padding 0. For all my application, my elements margin should be 0 and padding should be 0 by default. So we always do it in our normal HTML application. So we can also do it here. As I said, guys, we want to do it for every component, every file. So we can go in the style.css, the global CSS, and we can mention star. By default, every element should have margin 0 pixel because I want it for everyone. See, if I only mention this in my app component CSS, it will only work for app component. I want this CSS to be applied for every component, just like we do it in our normal HTML applications. And now see, that is gone. And also, so this is the basic reset CSS that I want. Box sizing, border box. Yeah, that's all. Basic setup. Okay, and you can also choose a by default font family. So font family by default, I want, let's say, to be Roboto. Again, guys, you can choose anything. I'm just using Roboto because it's installed in my PC. That's all. Okay, now then back to this. Let's display our content. And also I want to give it some padding to my box. So padding of, let's say, 20 pixel. Okay, and now let's display. So H1, let's display the name. So guys, what is the name of our object? Product, and the property is name. So to display the name, now it's not a direct variable, it's object. So product dot name, and let's see if it is displayed. And here we go, Samsung M51. I think the font size is quite big. Yeah, and we can display increase the width as well. So let's go ahead and increase the width to, let's say, 250, something like that. And oh, sorry, that was the height. 200. 250. Okay, fine, cool. And let's also display the price here. So inside H2, let's display a price. So much preparation for some basic things, but that's okay for now. I just want you guys to understand it perfectly. Okay, so name and price. Now let's say I simply want to display, let's say, something like up arrow if it is available and down arrow if it is not available. Something like that. Again, guys, it can be any random thing that you want. I just want it to be based on the condition. That's all. That's all. Or let's say I want to write available if it is available, otherwise not available. Something like that. Okay. So how can I do it? So let's say I go ahead and use a p tag, and inside that I write available. Available. Now see, available is displayed by default, but I want to only display available if it is actually available. Otherwise, I want to display not available. Something like this. So now these two P's should depend on condition. Right now they will be displayed directly. See, both are displayed. So I want this P and this P to be dependent on condition. So let's see how to write conditions in Angular UI. So for that, guys, no issues. Simply use something called as @if. That's all. @if. Previously, in the previous versions of Angular, we had to use a directive called as ngIf. But now that has been simplified. You just have to use @if, a simple control flow statement. And in here, you can write your variable. So if product dot is available, which is this property. Okay. So if that is true, then curly brackets and this. And then you can also have else, otherwise. So just don't forget @. That's all. Just don't forget @, and then put this particular P. And now see, it is displaying available. And now if I go ahead and make it false, here we go, not available. So right now I'm just playing with this P's. You can play with anything. You can play with CSS, you can play with classes, you can play with whatever you want inside if and else. But guys, that's how you do a basic conditional rendering. Now, this P or this P is dependent on condition. This will be only displayed if this condition is true, otherwise this will be displayed. Is that clear, guys? Sir, can't we use ternary operator in Angular HTML? No, ternary operators are not directly allowed. No, ternary operators are not directly allowed inside Angular. See, in React, you have JSX. So there you can mix JavaScript with HTML. That's why ternary is allowed, right? Because you can mix JS with HTML. Here we don't mix JS with HTML. They are separate. Is that clear, buddy? But there are some workarounds, and definitely I'll show you that when we deal with the projects. I'll show you some shortcuts and all that stuff. Don't worry. I'll show you all that stuff. How to use shortcuts, how to, avoid writing this big stuff and all that stuff. So don't worry about that. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we clear with the basic conditional rendering? And you can also have multiple, guys, just like you can also have multiple ifs. So if you want, you can have @if some condition and then whatever you want to do. Then else if some other condition, just like any random language, guys. And then finally you can have else. So this is the base syntax which is also available. So you can also write something like this. Let me just comment this out. You can also write something like this. Exactly like conditional operator, nothing big. That's the best part. So guys, you can also write something like this. Okay, something like this. Your basic multiple if. So if you have multiple conditions, here we go. Is it clear to everyone? Why are you using true again? What if I just use, yeah, that's also fine. That's also fine. Yeah, that's basic idea, guys. See, if you're only checking for Boolean, guys, if you're not checking for any other value, if you're only checking for Boolean, so you can remove the true, because by default also it checks for true. So yeah, that's not important. That's completely fine. And if I just make it true now, that was just a sample. But in this case, here you can go available. Okay. So guys, see, instead of directly showing you if and else, I just tried to make a context on how to use it so that, it will be etched in your mind. Oh, this is one place where I can use it. And then you can put it into places like this, wherever you feel, oh, this is where I can apply if and else. Okay. So just try to give you a simple example. So guys, are we clear with this? So see, in this case, you don't have to mention true because by default, if condition checks for true. So you don't have to mention true separately. But if you want, so in this case, what if I had something like this? Just to give you an example, what if I had something like this? Stock, right? Or available quantity, or let's say quantity. So if quantity is 0, that means it's out of stock. But now see guys, we have an issue. Why quantity is crying? Because our product object follows a type product, and that type doesn't have quantity. So let's go and add a quantity type in there. Quantity should be number. Okay. So now we can apply quantity. So now I need to mention that only if quantity is 0, then display not available. So guys, what do we have to do? Come on, tell me. What can be the changes here? So now, instead of is available, now we'll use if product.quantity is greater than 0, then only available. So now it will show us not available because it is 0. If I make it 10, then you can see, here we go, it's now available. So in case of Boolean, you don't have to mention equal to true because by default if checks for true. But if it is anything else that you want to compare, then definitely you have to go for some kind of condition. So guys, are we clear with the basic if and else logic, everyone? Cleared with basic if and else, hopefully. Okay, now you'll use it in a lot of different things. Don't worry. Today only I'll show you how to use it. Don't worry at all. But guys, all set. Can we move ahead now with the next thing? That was loop rendering. Should we? So guys, let's go with the next concept, which is going to be something called as loop rendering. And also let's try to discuss where this is important. Okay. So now see guys, all set. Okay, all set. We have this code available for some time. We can, let me remove this whole syntax. So we can keep it here. Let's keep it for now. Now see, right now I had one product. Okay. And I simply displayed it inside a single box. So this is why one card we can say or anything. And yeah, all looks good, perfectly fine, amazing, amazing, amazing. But now, what if in future I have many products? See, right now I have hard-coded one product, but when I call an API or something like that, in that case, I might get 10, 20, 30 products, and all those will come inside an array. normally our data will be always an array of objects. And so sorry guys, I don't know why my hair is being very bad today, but ignore that completely. Okay, it's because of the fan just above me, but okay. So now then guys, let's talk about array of objects. So in future, when you call a API, in that case, you'll mostly get an array of objects. That means your data will look like this, something like this. See? So let's say this is a single product. Okay. And we want to create an array. So guys, how do we create an array in this case? Let's say we call it as products. Now our name is products. Type is product equal to an array. And yeah, don't forget, you also have to give a type here. It's going to be an array of product, right? So products is the name of the variable. Inside that, we are storing an array of product types, right everyone? I hope you remember TypeScript, and now we can go ahead and create objects. So let's do one thing guys, rather than wasting our time in building the names and everything, let's do one thing. The best thing, use ChatGPT. So let's ask ChatGPT that, is it working or not? Is my internet? Yeah, it's working. So I'll just say continue, give me. So guys, I'm also showing you how to use this if you have not used ChatGPT in your coding things. So I always generate my data from ChatGPT. So give me 10 product objects with name. Let's mention it with name, price, and quantity. So just mention quantity properties in JavaScript array of object, so that it also follows the format. And now here we go, we should get, see guys, so we don't have to write, right? See, laptop, smartphone, it doesn't matter guys, data, anything is fine, but we are getting the same format, so we don't have to waste our time writing it. So now what we can do is we can simply copy this whole array of objects, and we can just go ahead, and rather than writing it, here we go. All set guys, you can see, right everyone? All set, perfectly fine. We have our data, an array of objects. Okay, so now guys, we have our data ready. Now the next case is, I want to display all this data. Okay, so one case is, if I want to display the first data, so now my first data is the first element of this array. My first data is the first element of this array. So display the first element of the array, I have to do this, products of 0.name, products of 0.price, something like this. And also let me just remove this. Right guys, to display my first element I have to do this, right? And here we go, I can see, okay, product does not, let me just refresh it. Yep, and why is it not displayed? Yep, you can see laptop, and why price is not getting displayed? Oh, sorry, products, I forgot. And see, here we go. One product is displayed. But now the problem is, if I want to display all my products, for this particular element, I have to write product of 1. For this particular element, I have to write product of 2, then product of 3, then 4, then 5. That means for every product, I have to keep creating this box again and again. Products of 1, right? And that's a tedious task. That is something we don't want to do. See, I'm getting my boxes, but that's not the correct way of doing it. Is that clear, everyone? And I think my camera has got stuck. I don't know why OBS has started doing this again, but let me just quickly, Okay, I hope now it's fine. Guys, please confirm, am I audible? Everyone, I don't see your chats for quite a few times, so please keep saying yes or no in the chat so that at least I can understand that you are understanding. Guys, are you there, everyone? Okay, all good. So understanding till now, right? And understanding the problem as well, right, guys? Everyone? So instead of explaining you loops directly, I'm just trying to show you the problem first. What is the problem that we are facing? Okay, so that means if I have 10 products, I have to write this whole thing 10 times. If I have 1,000 products, I can't even imagine what I have to do. I have to write this 1,000 times, and that's not the best thing. And that is where we use something called as loop rendering, or simply loops. And almost in every programming language for this purpose, we go for loop. So let's see how to do it via loops. Okay, So what we can do now is, see, we can use something called as an inbuilt control flow statement in Angular called as @for. So again, previously we had a directive, but now we don't have to use that. We can simply use that @for control flow statement, which is simply available in Angular. So @for, and then give any name to your variable. So let's say product of, what is your array name? Products. So product of products. So what I'm saying is, now what this loop will do is, it will go one by one inside this loop. So guys, see, this is like a for each loop. This is like a for each loop. That means go to every element one by one. First this, then this. So what will it will do is, say, for product of products. So this is my array name, which is products. Okay. So I'm saying, first go to this element, take this in this variable, and then we can use it here. Then next time it will take this element inside this product variable. The next time it will take this element inside this variable. The next time the next one, and one by one. So this loop will go through this whole array, and it will take one by one every element, and it will put it inside this variable one by one. And every time we'll have the product available. So first time in this variable we'll have the first product, the next time the second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element, like that. Is that clear, guys, everyone? But this, guys, whenever you're using a for inside an Angular, there is one very important property that you have to mention called as track in your loop only. So put a semicolon and use track. So you have to tell Angular how you are uniquely identifying your element, so that while doing the DOM operations, it's easier for Angular to re-render your component. That's why you have to give something unique to every element. So right now our product is not having anything unique. Okay, so what you can do is you can give an ID here. To every product, give an ID. So ID of 1. Or instead of writing by your own, let's do one thing. Let's go to ChatGPT again and ask, add a ID property. So now it will quickly add an ID property as well to your data. Is my internet working so slow today? I don't know. I think this ChatGPT is working a little slow. Maybe. It's working very slow. Come on, be a little fast. I would have written by myself, I think. In this case, it's quite slow. Okay, let's ignore it. It's very slow. I think it's because of the OBS and everything started. So first of all, let's go in type, and let's say that every object will also have an ID type, ID property. It will be number. And now let's add ID to everyone. So ID 1, then ID 2, then ID 3, ID 4, ID 5, 6, 7, almost done, guys. 8, 9, 10. So now every element also has an ID. Okay, that's okay. Now, as I said, this is like a for each loop. So it will go inside the array, products array, our products array. Okay, it will take every element one by one. For every iteration, it will take one element. So for the first time, it will take this. For the second time, it will take this. And it will store it in this product variable. It will be available to us. But as I said, if you're using loop in an Angular application, you have to use a track property, and you have to ask Angular what is the property, or what is something which is uniquely identifying your element that you're going to mention inside this loop. Okay, so I'll mention track based on product.id. So guys, what will happen now? For it will go in this array products, it will take the first element, it will put it inside this product variable, and I'm saying track it based on that product.id, which means 1. Next time it will 2, next time it will be 3, next time it will be 4. So now every time something unique is there. I cannot simply mention 1, because if I mention 1, that means I'm saying track every element by 1. But 1 is not unique, so it will give an error. it should be always something unique, because Angular uses this to understand, to give a unique ID, to give a unique number to every element that you're generating, so that while performing re-rendering, reloading, it can become fast. So that's why track based on product dot ID, something unique. And then inside this, now you can have that div. Now let me show you class product, and let's go h1. I want to display name, so product dot name, h2 product dot price. And let's see. And guys, here we go. See that, everyone? All the 10 products are here. See, generated for you one by one. Let's have some gaps between them so that you can understand. So let's go in CSS, this div, and let's just simply ask it to have margin of 10 pixel all around. So see now, guys, everyone, you have 10 products and all of them are generated using loop, and you have only written the code once. So now if you look at it, I hope you can read it properly. So I'm looping through the products array, taking one by one of its element in this variable, and I'm also saying track based on the ID of the element, and I'm displaying the name and price. So first time it displays the first element, next time the second, next time the third, and one by one, and you have something like this. I hope it's cleared, guys, everyone. I hope generating elements through loop is cleared now. So this div is getting created using loop now. You can see that div is generated 10 times. That's why you can see the output. Obviously, you can see here. See? So div. See, all the 10 divs are created. Everyone, hopefully it's completely cleared. No, we can't use map here, Drex. No, nobody. No. So not like React. No, we can't use map here. See, again, in React, we have JSX. That's why we can do whatever we want. Whatever we can do in JavaScript, we can do in JSX. This is Angular HTML. So whatever Angular templating provides, only we can use that. We cannot use our own map or for each or something like that. No, that's not possible. Remember, guys, in React, you use JSX. That's JavaScript. So whatever you can do in JavaScript, you can do in JSX. Here it's Angular templating. So no, whatever Angular gives you, you can only use that. And guys, see, whenever you use loop, there are some inbuilt variables available as well. One of them is something called as index, which gives you index of element, which you know, right? 0, 1, 2, something like that. So you can also use index, which is by default available. If you want to display it, let's just say nh2. I just want to display the index. So index, and that's available in something called as $index. And guys, it's by default available. You don't have to worry about it. Directly use it, but only inside a loop. This variable is directly available, but only inside the loop. So you can see guys, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Like that. So this is one of the variables which is by default available inside a loop. We can have one more variable we have. So this is even. So the variable name is $even. If I use it, see, even true, even false. So wherever the element is even, it's going to give you true. Wherever element is not even, it's going to give you false. Is it cleared, guys? All the indexes. So here, yes, index is even, 0 is even, false, true, false, true. Is that cleared, everyone? So you have even, you also have odd. I'm just showing you all the variables. You can use whatever you want. Okay. So again, guys, you don't have to use it all. Just showing you that these are some internal variables available in your. See, so here it is false. Here even is true. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention odd. And see. So even true, odd false, even false, odd true. So wherever even is false, odd will be definitely true. Something like that. Yes, that's a really good thing, Deepak. Yes. So guys, see, if your product, so initially I created product ID, which was something unique, right? But if you want, you can also say that, okay, don't track it based on ID. What if your data doesn't have ID? So in that case, you can ask, okay, do one thing, use the index to track based on index. That's also completely fine. Is that clear? So that's, yeah, you can do something like that. But I would always suggest you to use IDs rather than indexes. Yeah, you can use it, Rex. Completely fine, buddy. Completely fine. Yes, tech babies. Yes, that's an API call. And in future, see right now, guys, I have also hard coded the product data. In future, this data will come from an API, but that's okay, right? We just need, now we know how to display data of an array in our UI. Now again, guys, yeah, we can definitely style it better. I know that, but right now it's fine because we are just learning it. In future, see right now, we have seen how to display a data of an array on our UI. Now, this array right now is hard coded. In future, the data of this array will come from an API, but that's fine, right? The logic will be same. Whether our array is hard coded or our array's data is coming from an API, does it matter? No, because we just know how to display an array. We'll do it no matter from where the data comes from. And don't worry, we'll also learn it in upcoming sessions. We'll definitely learn it. So guys, are we cleared with this base logic, everyone? So these are some extra variables available directly inside your loop. And guys, please, only inside the loop. You cannot use this dollar index dollar even outside the loop. Okay, please don't use it there. Okay, is that cleared, guys? Are we cleared with the basic looping logic, guys? And now you can make it look much more better using CSS, guys. You can actually make it look a lot better using CSS. So first of all, these three things I don't want to display at all. Just keep them here in the comments. Okay. Now then, guys, let's try to make it a little better. Just a little better. Okay. So let's try to style it a little bit. So guys, we have a div class product. Let's add one parent to the whole for. So div class, let's give it something called as products, something like that. Now let's put it in here. Okay. So guys, now what's happening? We have a main div products, parent div. Inside that we have our for, and then all the 10 divs are generating. So how our HTML will look like, guys? Now you will see first, I hope you can see that, guys. First, we have a div products, which is our main parent. Inside that, we have all our 10 divs. I hope you can see it, guys. Now we have a div, main div, which is products. And then inside that, we have all our 10 divs. So now we can style it properly, right? Let's go and let's try to style it a little bit. Okay. So main class product, let's apply some CSS to that. Now, guys, all the people who are coming from my CSS sessions, I hope you guys know what I'm going to do now, right? You guys know it already. So products, width of 100%, no height will be by default, padding of 30 pixel or maybe 5%, and background color, let's say, background color, let's say light gray, something like that. Okay. And then inside this, height 200 pixel or maybe, no height at all. Height will be depending on the child or the content. Width will be, let's say, 30%, and background color of light gray will give it white. So we have these boxes now. You can see if I just add images, this will start looking good as well, guys. And 30% too much, so let's say give 20%. Yeah, that's nice. And now to the parent element, we can ask it to become a flex box. So display flex, and see now they are side by side, but also not, they are just, shrinking the width. I don't want that. So flex wrap. All the people, if you're new, guys, and if you don't know CSS, you can also watch my CSS courses. That's completely free on YouTube, and everything is covered there as well. So you can see, guys, if you want to give some extra gaps here, you can also give that. So you can say column gap of, so see, one child is 20%. I want 4 childs in one line. So 20, 20, 20, 80. So 80 is done. That means 20 is left. 20% width is left. Guys, I hope everyone knows CSS, okay? So see, one element is of 20%. So 20, 20, 20, 20. That means the 4 elements will take 80% space of a single row. That means 20% will be left. Now I want that 20% to be divided into 1, 2, 3 gaps. So we can say column gap. Calci, I don't want to calculate. You calculate. 20% divided by 3. I want 3 gaps. Oh, sorry. 3 gaps, right? 1, 2, 3. I think it's a little too much. So maybe, why it's not working? Have I given something extra to them or something like that? No. It should give us 4 elements in one line, but why it's not giving us that? Okay, let's try, guys. What's 20 divided by 3? Just tell me a little bit quickly. What's 20 divided by 3? Uh, I think it's something like 6.66, something like that. Percent. Let's see. It's still that much. So let's give it 6%. Hmm. 20 into 480. Yeah. Where am I getting wrong in the calculation? Am I doing some 1, 2, 3 gaps? So 20 plus 5, 25, 20 plus 5, 25. Very strange. Okay, 5 is fine. Wow, guys. Okay, but only 1, 2, 3 gap, right? So why 5%? That's a little weird, but okay, fine. Oh, I forgot, guys. Wow, guys, no, 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 no. I have given extra margin here. See, my bad. The calculation was correct. That margin was also getting added. That's why it was not doing. That's what I was saying. I wanted 3 gaps. They should work. See, it's working now. So I give an extra margin so that 10 pixel was getting added. See, so, and now to give vertical gaps, let's simply use row gap of, let's say, 50 or maybe 30 pixel. And yep, see, so all the products align. Now you just add some images and they will start looking good as well. So guys, are we cleared with this, everyone? Are we cleared with the base logic, guys? And now let's try to do one last thing. Let's use condition inside loop now. We have learned it, so let's use it. So let's say we will do this. If a product is available, see guys, again, we can do a lot better. Even I love designing, but don't worry, we'll keep our designing heads for the project. There we'll design it amazingly. But for today, let's make it only for learning. So what I'm going to do is, if a product is out of stock, I'll simply, let's say, what we can do in that case is, we can just put a red icon here, red circle. And if it is available, we'll put a green circle, something like that. What say, everyone? So red circle and green circle, something like that. Okay. And for circles, we can either use font awesome or we can create our own circle as well. Can you display laptops only? I have category. Yeah, you can display, definitely. Why not? It will be same logic, right? Yeah, it will be same logic, tech babies. No matter what the product is, logic will be same. Okay. So guys, what I want to do is simply, so let's go. So what we can do is, in here, inside the div only, we want a circle. So now guys, for the circle, either we can use a font awesome or we can use our own icon here, a simple circle, or we can use a disk or something like that. So let's create a div or a P. Give it a class of circle. We'll create our own circle, okay? Circle, something like that. Okay. And give it a class of red for now. Circle red. And one more P with, or just have circle red, that's it. For now, let's just have circle red. So for available ones, we won't display anything. For unavailable ones, we'll display circle red. Okay. And let's style it. So dot circle. If something is circle, it will have height of 20 pixel, width of 20 pixel. Okay. And border radius 50%, which will make it a circle. And let's make it gray for now. So background color gray. And you can see now, guys, we have a gray circle here. Okay. But let's give it a color from the red one. See, I've also given a class of red. So let's go dot red, background color red. And see, they're all red circles. And now we can remove this gray. So now, guys, I have two classes. One is giving it height, width, and border radius, and one is giving it background color. And we can also make it a little small, so 10 will be fine. 10. Yeah, we can also put image. Yeah, why not? Why not? Put anything you want. Yes. I'm just giving an example. So now, guys, we have this red circle. I only want to display it if and only if it is not available. So we need to put this up in a condition. And my condition is @ if that product dot quantity is not greater than 0. or let's say less than 1, something like that, or maybe equal to 0, because guys, we know, right, it will never go below 0. I hope quantities can no go below, like below 0, can never go below 0. So if product dot quantity is equal to 0, please display this. And see, right now it's not anywhere because all my product quantity is 10, 25. So let's make someone 0. Let's make this monitor that, okay, fine, now you're 0. And see guys, we have this red circle over there. Is it clear, guys? This is just a very simple example. You can do it for whatever you want. So now loop is happening. Okay, all set. Now at any point of time, if I make anything 0, because my logic is that much properly, that it will just make it red. Because loop is re-rendering it. Loop is rendering it, and whenever I change my data, application is reloading. This loop is again happening, and it checks the condition. And for every item where the quantity is 0, it displays a red circle. So guys, you can put emoji, you can just give border color, you can do whatever you want in this case. So guys, that's how you render your data using loops. Can you show if you want to put emoji along with some message like oops, out of stock? Yeah, why not? Why not? So guys, if you need emoji, then definitely we have to go ahead and, have some font awesome. So let's go. Let's use font awesome. Okay, let's use font awesome. I don't know, in VS Code also we have emojis, right? But I don't know how to get it. I have never used, so I don't know how to get it. That's the problem. I don't know how to get it, the VS Code emojis. Because VS Code also has emojis. I know. I definitely know that. Okay, let me see. Shortcut to get emojis in VS Code. Control Shift P, and search configure emoji and select it. Okay, because I never use it, so that's a little mistake. Windows plus dot. Okay, Windows plus dot. Okay, let me see. Windows plus dot, if it works. Windows dot. Oh, that's great. Yep, this is what I wanted. So let's say what can we use for it? Okay, let's use this one. Okay, that's fine. So now we don't have to use red, but that's fine. Let's just use it. And now you can see that emoji is there, and we can now remove the red and all that stuff. So let's simply go and remove that colors. But again, guys, that's fine. Let's just remove it. And see, here we go. And now you can also mention a message there. Oops, out of stock. So why not? Here we go. See. So now, Komalpreet, I hope it's cleared. So yeah, Windows dot. Thank you so much, Binary, for helping me out in that. So guys, are we cleared with this? So as I said, guys, you can display whatever you want. So now we are not giving it color, so we can remove this red and everything and all that stuff. And yeah, that's all fine. So we can remove it, and to this also we can remove it now. And if you want to give it some color or something like that, you can give it some class and give it some color as well. So guys, are we cleared with conditional rendering and loop rendering? And yes, tech babies, yes, we'll use the exact same method even if our data comes from an API. Right now, our data is hard-coded. As you can see, the list of elements is hard-coded. But in future, it will come from an API. Not in future, not in very far. It's not very far. In near future. I think in the next 2 sessions, I'm showing you how to call APIs. So I'll show you how to get data from API and how to display that data in your UI. And your UI will look much more better because I enjoy designing a lot. So right now, it's very simple, but don't worry. We'll work on it. So guys, are we clear with this, everyone? Can you please confirm that? Yeah, why not? Yeah, we can disable the button. So we can simply have a button and you can just put disable there, Shazan. Yeah, why not, buddy? Same stuff, same stuff. Exact same stuff. Yes. We can also perform attribute binding or something like that in that case. Yep. Remember guys, attribute binding. Remember that attribute binding, everyone. We learned property binding. So let's say, I'll also give you a shortcut. Wait, I'll also give you a shortcut. So let's say we have a button for now. It is called as add to cart. Okay. See, so now every button is clickable here. See that, guys? Every button is clickable right now. You can see that every button is clickable. Now, wherever it is out of stock, I want this add to cart to be disabled. Two ways. Two ways. One thing, I can write if and else, and I can have one button for activated button if the condition is wrong, and one deactivated button, right? So if it is out of stock, display a activated button. If it is out of stock, display a disabled button. If it is not out of stock, display a normal button. Something like this, just to show you. Something like this. Let's say this will be disabled @else. This will be not disabled. So one way is this. See now, guys, I hope you can see that, guys. All the other buttons are enabled. Only these two buttons are disabled. See that? So one way is this. One way is you can also use property binding, right? Rather than writing this 2 times, you can use property binding, which is something like this. Put a button. Okay. Let's make it add to cart. And now, guys, which property do you want to bind? We want to use disabled. So guys, for property binding, always put your property inside square bracket. So disabled. And now we know property binding here, and we want to give it true or false. So we need to put a condition here, right, everyone? So we can say my condition is, what is going to be our condition? Product dot quantity should be disabled should be true if it is equal to 0. And now let's see if it is working. And here we go. See that, guys, everyone? So we can also use the property binding syntax and see those two are disabled. So it's easy, right? It's easy. Disabled is a property of button or input tags which expects true or false as its value. So I'm passing this condition. So if this condition gives true, disabled will be true. If this condition gives false, disabled will be false. So we don't have to worry about if and else anymore. We can also use this shortcut. So you can also use the property binding syntax to achieve the same thing. In the if and else, you just have to write some extra lines of code. See, guys, buttons disable property expects true or false as its value. So here we go. We can pass it like this. So if someone pays something, we need another website for admin panel to control. Yes, tech babies. Yes, definitely. We also need admin panel. Yes. In our project also, so if this is a users panel where user can add to cart and buy, we will also need an admin panel from where we can add products, delete products, update products, all that stuff. So guys, are we cleared with the rendering, UI rendering logic? Everyone? Now do I see? There are a few more things that we need to learn in UI rendering, but don't worry, that we'll be learning slowly in every other session. Okay, in the project sessions, we'll be talking a lot about UI, but right now, again, our main focus is to learn every core thing in Angular. So now, guys, can I say that now you know how to display data, how to do basic event binding, how to call functions, how to create your own components, how to perform basic routing, and how to display database using loops and conditions. Can I say that now you know this much in Angular, everyone? Can we say that? And are you feeling confident or not? That's my main thing. Are you feeling confident? And the main and final question, are you guys enjoying the sessions? Because that is the most important thing to me. Are you guys enjoying it? And if you are, guys, please, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe and share the channel with your friends, and also like the video, everyone. So guys, that's going to be it for today. We have learned a lot of things, and I really hope that everything is clear to you. Can you please confirm that before we end today's session? I think tomorrow is going to be all about, yes, see, life cycle and pipes. So 2 more topics we'll be talking about tomorrow. Why are you putting a binding outside? Because see, this, it is not, see, I just showed you 2 ways that now this button doesn't need to be attached to if and else. Because these buttons, I always want to display this button. See, Shazan, this button should be always displayed. That's why I'm not putting inside if and else. Button will be displayed, but it will be disabled or not will be depending on this condition. Initially what I did, I displayed 2 buttons. One activated, one deactivated. Activated button will be displayed when it is in stock. Deactivated button will be displayed when it is out of stock. So we had two buttons. That's why one I put in if, one I put in else, because we had two buttons and we only wanted to display one. But that same logic can be only achieved by one button, because I want to display button, but it should be disabled if quantity is 0. It should be enabled if quantity is greater than 0. That's why one button can also work. I don't need the if else logic. So now I'm only using the if else logic to display this p tag. That's all. Is it clear, Sajan? Now this button doesn't need to be inside if else, because the whole logic of disabling is working here. It's kind of like if else only, right? Keep it disabled if this condition is true. If this is false, make it enabled. So it's kind of like if else. So that whole thing is getting done in one line. So guys, are we cleared, everyone? Before going away, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. Our aim is to reach 4K. Let's see if we can reach 4K in the next 2-3 days. Okay, and guys, we might have around 5 to 6 more Angular sessions. Okay, maybe 7 by the end of this month. And after that, we are also going to be starting with Flutter. Okay, so please be there, because I also want to teach you complete app development. And if you know any of your friends who might want to learn Flutter, complete mobile app development, so please share the channel with them as well and let them know that we are going to be starting with Flutter as soon as the next month starts, because this month we'll be completing Angular, the whole thing, project, everything. And from next month, the first thing that we'll be starting is going to be Flutter, mobile app development. I would also urge you guys to join in and learn mobile app development as well. So yep, guys, sir, you will be covered data sharing using RxJS. Mostly, I'm planning for that. Let's see how the whole thing goes. Let's see what kind of project we select. But I'm planning for that as well. Data sharing using RxJS. Yes, we'll be definitely calling APIs. We'll be using observables, and we'll try to go a little deeper in RxJS for data sharing. So let's see how the whole thing goes. I'll definitely plan it. That's why I have only planned the next 2 sessions. After that, I'm still creating what I should teach, so that you get the whole thing about Angular. So yep, guys, can you be expect Git this month, because parallel we can push to our repo? Yeah, okay, yeah, we can try. Why not? We can have 2-3 sessions. It's going to be very easy. The basic Git. So yeah, we can try maybe 3-4 sessions of Git as well. Let's see. Later in the evening, maybe 9 to 10, something like that. So yep, no issues in that. So yep, guys, that's all, everyone. Thank you so much. I'll see all of you tomorrow exactly 7 p.m. sharp. Be ready, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, everyone. Good night. Please like the stream and subscribe to the channel.